a lot of us don't know what we're doing. We just continue to do it. And, because of the muscle memory, it ends up okay.
Matt Coyle's Last Redemption is book number 8 in his Rick Cahill series. Matt's popular protagonist seems to finally have his act together. He's engaged to Leah Landingham. They have a child on the way, and he's only taking jobs that keep danger at bay. But Rick Cahill's past is catching up to him. His best friend Moria asks him to keep an eye on her troubled son, and when Luke goes missing, Rick's world starts to spiral. And then his doctor tells Rick that the headaches he's having are chronic traumatic encephalopathy, and Rick is facing an uncertain neurological future. Last Redemption is getting rave reviews, and when Matt sat down for his second Authors on the Air visit, he shared the rules he uses when he writes his protagonist.
I had 2 rules when I first started writing Rick. I didn't know anything about writing books. I knew about reading them. But I did want 2 things that were very important to me. One was for Rick to have to deal with everything that he goes through alone. He didn't have a rich buddy to fly him wherever he needed around the country. He didn't have a Superman sidekick who could physically do anything to save him. Rick had to live by his own wits. And that lasted for a book. And then Moira McFarlane came into Night Tremors, and for just a couple of scenes, well, first it was going to be like one scene, and then she just kind of grew, and then ever since she's taken larger and larger roles, and I can't imagine not writing a book without Moira. I love her. She's one of my favorite characters to write. But the other rule, which I stuck to, is that everything that happened to Rick, or every bad decision he made, had repercussions. He could not escape his bad decisions. He could not escape the physical damage that had happened to him over all these years. And when I thought about it, I thought about, well, he boxed Golden Gloves as a kid for about 3 years. He played football, Pop Warner High School, a couple of years of college ball. He's had many concussions as a private investigator. I thought, if I'm going to live by this rule that everything matters, the physical, he can't escape his decisions, he can't escape the physical damage he's received, then it just made sense that would happen. That would actually happen to him. And so I, probably not terribly brilliantly, said, well, it's going to happen to him. He's going to have to deal with it. So that's why he's losing his mind, and pieces and pieces of it.
We writers are inclined to avoid writing in the first person because it strips us of the ability to clue in our readers about what the hero doesn't know. Matt Coyle revels in the first-person point of view because his audience can often figure things out before Rick does.
The thing about writing first person, especially if you're writing a series, is that the readers have to like the guy. And if they don't like him, he has to at least be compelling for them to want to go along for the ride. And at times, he will miss clues that they can see. And 99% of the time, that's by design. Sometimes I might miss stuff too that's there. But yeah, I actually at one point in the last book, Blind Vigil, was going to write it in a third-person point of view along with Rick's, just because of the vision thing. But I decided not to, and I think it ended up being a good decision. But yeah, there are times where you wish you could kind of give a little more to the reader. This kind of, if you have a sense of doom and looming violence, it would be good if you'd be able to show it, as opposed to Rick having a gut feeling or something. But I've been writing first person for 20 years with this guy. It took me 10 years to get published. So, and I thought about doing something different and writing in third person, and how much of a challenge that's going to be. So I kind of sometimes feel like it's an easy way out to write first person. And I've heard other people think, well, it's hard, but I think it'll be a real challenge to write something in third person. But just because you mentioned omniscient narrator and the whole close, far away, omniscient, third person, all this, you don't want, it's going to be a challenge. But right now I'm still in Rick's head.
For a series to hold our attention, characters have to grow. In Last Redemption, Rick Cahill has evolved to the point where his fatalistic attitude has a price attached.
book's pretty fatalistic. If he dies, he dies. But if he dies now, it matters. And so he knows himself better, and he knows that. Can he be happy being this person who doesn't go in and engage evil on their ground? Can he stay back and be a person who doesn't take on every challenge? And that's a big issue for him.
The process of creation is a team effort, and our editors play a crucial role in helping us frame our art in a way that makes it appealing. For Matt Coyle, the writer-editor relationship is symbiotic, and the space between his submission and editorial feedback often opens the door to insights in his own mind.
I address their notes for sure. I absolutely address their notes because they're always good. And then I think, well, I have my own notes, so here we go again. Because you've had some time. You had months at this point to have set it aside. And, I always take a little time off after the first draft, but I'm always behind. So I want it to be 2 weeks or so. And it's generally, it's maybe 7 to 10 days. But it would really be good. I think Stephen King takes a month or two off between, not off, he never does anything off. But for that project, I read that, I could be wrong. And then you pick it up, and you see so many different things, and I think it's really beneficial to do that. But it would be better if I took more time off in between. If I wrote the drafts faster and took that time off before I handed it to my editor, so I don't make it difficult for them.
Of course, the most important feedback comes from the reader. Here is just some of the praise Last Redemption has received. Matt Coyle knocks it out of the park with Last Redemption. Just when you think Coyle has reached the top of his game, he does one better. Allison Brennan. Matt Coyle is one of the finest PI authors in the business. Last Redemption proves it. Superb. Bruce Robert Coffin. And Last Redemption deserves more stars than has the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's book reporter. For Matt, the reader's affection for Rick Cahill has been central to the success of the series.
That always makes me happy. That means I think I'm doing something right because I'm writing the book that I want to write, but people find it compelling and fast-paced. So it makes me think that my theory of the way I want to write a book is working.
2021 has had its ups and downs for Matt Coyle. He lost 2 family members this year, but he also found a soulmate and feels that at last he may be able to define success.
I think maybe success for me would be to realize that maybe I'm experiencing it and to some degree now and just enjoy it instead of realizing I haven't hit all my goals. Maybe you're still striving, but maybe smell the roses now. Maybe that'd be success if I learned how to smell the roses better. Matt
Coyle's Last Redemption is available in print and digital format from Ocean View Publishing. And if his most recent precursor, Blind Vigil, is any indicator, it's a book that will find its way into many homes this season. For Authors on the Air, I'm Terry Shepard, and I'll see you in the next chapter.